Good night, Marcia, and good night, Maxine. Good to be your company again.
Good
Um,
to be with you, Glyne.
today is really a remarkable night. Let me tell you why. Now, my topic tonight is police on the road, the service to self and country. Police on the road, the service to self and country. I decided on that topic yesterday afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, and I wrote it down. And I sent it to Marcia this morning before 7. Okay? We never discuss what is involved. I'm here tonight. You are talking along the same lines with the police on the road, the service, self, and country. Maxine is doing the same thing. Without any prior consultation, it seems as though we are as fully aware and conscious of the decline, the degradation in the society. So we seem to just have a consciousness that we need to express it, and it coincides on this night. Now, when this headline, let me define the service. The service means an action that harms something or someone. The service, an action that harms something or someone. Well, that is the reaction when they got I saw the headline in the paper, the picture in the paper last week of the policemen and the leadership of the police effort in Barbados, the Attorney General and the Minister for Crime Prevention, Mr. Kurt Humphrey, whining in the street. I said to myself, is this a new form of community policing? Is that what community policing has come to me? Because I remembered there were a couple of mantras, things that Wynaf used to tell us in cabinet all the time. Clarity of purpose, seek for clarity of purpose, and certainty of outcome. And you also say, if you have a problem, face it and fix it. Face it and fix it. So when I saw this, what I considered a pathetic attempt, a degrading attempt for the policeman to be on the road, gyrating behind a music truck, I felt that was a great disservice to themselves, to an image of a Barbados has one the third oldest organized police service in the world. It was formed in 1835. Okay, and that is the best you can do to normalize, to be accepted by the police, by the public. And then I saw the headline: 21 homicides in 6 months. And then when I saw this morning's headline with that poor old lady, I said, what more must happen to Barbados and Barbadians to get this government to fix it and face it? Okay. And I'm sure Prime Minister Motley and a couple of others who are in the cabinet now, who remember those things. Fix it and fix it. And I said, this is no way to fix it and fix it. And I thought it was applicable perhaps not so much to Attorney General Marshall, who provides the law to cope with the crime after it's been committed. I thought it is about time that Kurt Humphrey, who became Minister in charge of crime prevention on the 25th of February, March, April, May, 3 months. 3 months. And I think in that 3 months, I've only heard him talk about crime prevention maybe twice. And the most memorable one, he mentioned when he talked about he's not going to rush in, he's going to talk to people before he makes any policy decisions. 3 months, and you can't come up with any, like you said, Marcia, we need to hear some ideas on how you're going to fix it and do things. The same way, and I heard he did say to Minister Humphrey, did say that he thinks that crime prevention is a natural fit to his other ministry, people empowerment, et cetera, et cetera. So if it's a natural fit, make it fit and make it work. Come and tell us something. But to be there for 3 whole months, cannot even give the semblance of a policy of a recommendation, how you do things differently. That's right. And all is happening around the society night after night. One would have thought that after that headline, 21 homicides in 6 months, come and address the country on crime prevention. Like I said, the AG Marcia talked for crime, the penalties for crime. He talks about the judges appointed, the system that comes in after the crime. We want to know what you're doing to prevent crime, Minister. Minister Humphrey, who fancies himself to be very well informed, can be almost an expert on social policy. He's always talking about the laws and the bills for children and the aged and the disabled. And then you said, if you yourself admitted that crime prevention were natural fit to those other areas of your responsibility, and which you speak about so volubly, so often and repeated almost to the point of boredom, and you can't pick your teeth once about crime and crime. What are you doing about crime? I think it's a disgrace. I think the government is sorely wanting in this regard, and you can want for you to therefore seek to find time. How can you find time? Along with the Attorney General, crime being what it is, at the same time, you have 2 murders and 2 nights, etc. Robberies all over the broad daylight, banks, gas stations, all over the place. And only the public feel that things are out of hand. It hasn't dawned on you all yet that you have to do something about it. You have to fix it and tell us even what you're going to try to fix it. I think it's a disgrace. And we are overdue. With the Prime Minister, we went through the last by-election in St. James North, and the Prime Minister barely mentioned crimes. There are things which she avoided. But she spoke every night. Crime, the controversial topics of the proposed projects for the West Coast and East Coast and all over our base. Those things never cross her mouth once to give the public any respectful response to their demands and their concerns. And then the same thing is happening. They act as though it's not happening. It might be happening to them, but it's happening all around us. A lot of people have been touched by robbery or whatever, and we are long overdue. So then to reduce your crime prevention effort to dancing in the street because you want to show a softer, kind of more gentle side of the policeman. Policemen don't need to. Policemen who are born in Barbados, we know that most Bajans can walk up or move to rhythm. It's natural part of our musical culture. So to go and jump behind the street is not to show, it's not going to win any hearts in the Barbarian community. They get people more compliant and respect you more and whatnot. Right? We know you can do. You don't have to prove that. In fact, you probably would have lost some points in the public sphere because it was an undignified way of marking of making yourself. If you can find time, why can't you find the time you spent to plan, to think about it, plan, execute it, take part of it? You know how many hours must have gone that not only for yourself, but that significant section of the force. How can you therefore not put all those resources, mental and other, into crime prevention to come with a policy and talent? I therefore think it's a disgrace, and we need a better account from the government, particularly from Minister Kirk. He's long overdue to come and talk to us, and what you're doing, you have the police. Whoever, I'm trying to figure out who would have come up with this idea first, and they do not bounce it off to other people to say, this makes sense. There's no focus groups. You just go and do this. But I've gone through. This would have to have been in the work for a number of months in order to get that kind of turnout in the road last week. That couldn't happen overnight. You had to make adjustments and time off, etc. And that sort of thing. The money that was given in T-shirts and bags and all those trinkets and all, you're going to Kadooment Day or you're at a political meeting, kind of gone to help pay the overdue allowances that policemen are still waiting to get. Your priorities are wrong. This is a waste of time. It has done nothing for you or for the society. In fact, I think it has pushed the police force back because there's police force is one of Barbadia's most important social institutions. Like, because the government's first duty is to give security and safety and stability to the society, not housing or health or education or jobs. The first thing you do. That's why a police force is crucial, because without the stability, nothing else can happen. And if you don't look at poor, distressed Haiti, where they don't have a properly organized police force.
Yeah.
So police, that is one of our most important institutions. And because of its importance, and because the work it does, policemen are not ordinary people. Like a nun is not an ordinary person. Policemen have a special calling. And we know, I'm sure they go to the Fed Street, they go to park, we know they can dance. They don't have to have a road march through Bridgestone to prove they can dance. To do what? And I think they have run, because the police force has already, because of the changing social conditions and cultural norms, etc., which are always evolving and changing, etc. The respect and the awe or even fear of the police is no longer what it used to be. So when you further degrade that and diminish that by trying you ordinary, you're not ordinary. People don't want you to be ordinary. People want to respect you. You expect the police force to act with empathy and sympathy and respect and cooperation. That is what they want from the police force. So we'd expect the nurses then to come and start have a road march to prove that what? That they get given good care. It is not expected. It's a false concept of what your role is or what the expected people are. Stick to your basics. Reassure the people. And so they have lost. I think the police force is at sea, because I thought that by now, apart from the crime prevention talk, when they follow the criminal situation around the Caribbean, police forces are strong, vigorous, they're in your face, they make their presence, you know they are in town. I have not seen any pictures of any police force in Caribbean having a road march through the streets to prove that they're cool and they're regular and they're with the people. Because that is not their role. Okay? And what we are lacking is we need to have the police doing things rather than road march, rather than making their presence felt on the street, let their presence be felt in the society. Put the criminals under pressure in the ways you know best how. That is why it seems as though it's a free-for-all for crime. Where anybody, anytime can be attacked anywhere by anything, by anybody, with any weapon. It's a very lazy, very laid back, as though we live in the natives are quiet and it is not. The society wants more. The society wants better. And there's nothing. And to change you used to be. You were from 1835. You were the Barbados Police Force, and then when they came here, it came here in February 1966, before we were independent. In November, as part of that, to commemorate that visit, they became the Royal Barbados Police Force, and that the Royal Barbados Police, the Royal was dropped along with force, became service.
Yes.
When we became republic, but to change the name to service, it's not going to endear you until people see you are serving the people in the way they expect you to do. I don't know what it would take to get them back on track, but they need to come away, and there are operators, though Barbados are still going through what you would have found in Marcia when you first came 20 plus years ago. Like I said, our society's culture is always changing. Sometimes you can see it more often than not, but it's always in a state of flux. You're borrowing and tasting and testing and dropping and take. Barbados has done it ad nauseum to itself that something you scarcely know what is Barbadian, except for that word that you can pronounce on the short tonight, Marcia. That's one of the few perennials that you know you're Barbadian, right? That's distinctively Barbadian, right? So, but we borrow and take. True, right? Right.
Listen, I was shocked when I came upon it because I had not seen it before. I was totally shocked.
I know. But that is inherently Beijing. When you know that, you're in Beijing, you've got a real Beijing, as they say. But I'm saying that we need something out of the police force. We could for a force at 190 years. You have a lot more to offer. You have a history. Why could they have organized a pageant, a parade, a show, a lecture, an exhibition of their short of change and growth for the one a couple hours on Broad Street and through the city to what? That act to me is equivalent in my mind. To me, that has so degraded the standard of the police force to me, and to me, its standing and the reverence and the respect that you need to have in the force. It reminds me of that is equivalent to making that pact with the gangs. You're compromising yourself. You're not reducing yourself to their level. You're not compromising yourself, but you are maintaining your distinctive role and function, because every society, every group, every organization has roles and functions. Roles and functions. The police's role and function are different from others. It's only when you get your roles and function confused or compromised that you lose your focus, right? And I think that is what is going on. They do not have to try to prove that they are cool and regular. And no, we want to prove that they are. They're very good. They're very good. They're admitting the police have done an admirable job in catching people, in prosecuting them, and getting convicted. Well, the DP and convicting them, etc. I mean, the execution is often sorted by the law courts. But that part of it, where their detection and their catching and their prosecution, those rates are very high. We need to adopt a similar approach, high results approach to crime prevention. And this is where Kurt Humphrey comes in. I know right now he hates anybody to try to, as you say, lecture him about social policy. I'm not lecturing him. I would dare not, because I know I'm merely pointing out to him as a member of the public who has been around far longer than he has been, that he needs to come up to the plate and show what he's really worth for in this new role. I am told by some around him who said his initial I was told that they said it's alleged that his initial reaction to, man, what is going to do to me now, man? I like this thing, because this is not the more organized, structured, sedentary activity you can have with the disabled, the aged, and the children. This is a rough and tumble where anything can happen any day at any time. You cannot manage it and control it like you do. You react to other people's behavior. And you go to work every day, as Maxime would know in government, you go to work every day to deal with problems that over which you had no hand in, but it lands on your day, you got to manage it. That is so with crime also. And therefore, I think that I would like to know if they evaluated that. I know they got the picture in the paper, etc., waving at people that they do, and Marcia, etc. But has anybody sat down and done an evaluation? What were the gains? What were the benefits? Did you have a cost-benefit analysis? A cost not necessarily in terms of money, but the social cost, the impact or lack of it on society. Has anybody done that? I know you'd like to tell me what do they think? What do they think were the gains for society, or for the police force, or especially for crime prevention out of that? How did it enhance? How did that improve? Did they get more information? Were they able to make any breakthroughs? Were they able to go after the kingpins in crime environment? What has it done for them? And this can tell me so. I think it was an embarrassing effort on the part of those who were responsible, both those within the police force whoever came up with it was a bad idea, it should not have gone through the system. Somebody should have told them that this is not what to say. How does that sit with what the headline for the Weekend Nation and today's headline? It makes it as though you're not in the same society as the rest of Barbados. I'm anxious to see what they will do. I mean, it is so sad, and my heart goes out for the dear old lady and her family and her grandson. But to think that that this is happening, living in fear. That's a chilling head, living in fear. She is living in fear, but this headline not only represents her, it represents a very large segment of the people in Barbados. They're fearful, they're anxious, they're not settled, they have to look over their shoulders. I know people now don't go afraid to go to the gas station, the supermarket, women, to single women especially. So everybody now is a target and vulnerable to the crime that seems to be coming out the woodwork, that seems to be spraying out more than cane blades in Barbados anymore. And I think we've come to a very, Marcia, you're right, we've come to a very sad state in Barbados. And we need the Prime Minister to, well, maybe it's better that she doesn't get too involved, but she needs to get her people to work, to produce, to bring some answers. Otherwise, Barbadians will not forever keep waiting and hoping. There's always a tipping point. There's always a tipping point in the society, because from my readings of society and sociology, human behavior, that is my favorite area. A society is like an organism, and every living organism wants to live and thrive and succeed. That's where you get the term resilience, where everybody wants to get by and be safe and live. And societies have a way of rebounding, fighting back when they think they're under serious threat to their extinction. And I think we are at that point now. And no matter a lot of sweet talk on fancy, we want plain, simple talk that we can say step by step, that we know what you're about. We can follow your logic. Tell us a path. We don't want the operational details, but give the country the assurance that you are on top of this, Minister Humphrey, as you repeatedly sought to show the country that you are on top of your other areas of responsibility. And one last thing, I think it's interesting that
just let me say, Miss Murray, just to remind our viewers that the phone line is officially open for you to call, right? Remember that, call in. So Mr. Murray is going to make his final point, and then get ready to call in. Go ahead, Mr. Murray.
I think it's very significant that generally when the media in Barbados refers to Minister Humphrey, the Honourable Minister Kurt Humphrey, Minister of People Empowerment, I forget the other, some other things. Seldom ever is he referred to as Minister of Crime Prevention, like it was done with the Corey Lane. Right? I think, and therefore, I think he's getting a free pass because people are not automatically linking his name with crime prevention. People still see him as a social services sector minister, but crime prevention there, and he has to live up to the mandate, or the country will have to pay him and the government a price.